industry by continually improving the operations side of the business. Our policies and procedures that we put into place certainly makes those things happen. We try to make a commitment to our customers, whether they be commercial, industrial, or residential customers, to provide them a great service at a very minimal cost. Certainly, I'd be a liar to say that we're not in the business to make money, because we are in the business to make money. But every garbage company picks up trash. How they do it and the satisfaction that they get, that the customers get from the business, is what sets us apart from our competitors. I will share with you that we do many things over the last 19 years and every year, but on an annual basis, as of December the 31st of 2019, we've served approximately 309,000 commercial, industrial, and residential customers. We operate in the states of Alabama, Arkansas, Colorado, Florida, Kansas, Missouri, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas. In those 10 states, we own or operate 25 landfills, 34 collection operations, and 26 transfer stations or material recovery facilities, which you'll hear in the solid waste industry as a MRF. That's where we collect some recycling or other materials, and we separate them at those MRFs. And so that material collection and recovery facilities is what a MRF is. With that being said, we, for those that don't know, I'm retired from Little Rock Police Department. I used to be the mayor here in Cabot, and I've been in the garbage industry for the past 13 years. I currently work for WCA Waste, and I cover the states of Arkansas and Oklahoma. So my job is the municipal marketing manager for those states, and so I deal directly with every municipality that we contract with, and county. Now we have Arkansas County as well. And so with that being said, those are some of the things and responsibilities that I have. I wanted to share with you some things, because whenever the mayor called and at least one of the council members called and talked to me, we were talking about, what we thought the prices would be. And of course, when you do an RFP or an RFQ or whatever you're going to do, we certainly like to do those in the private. And because then you compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, and it's all secret, and you get the best price for, the best bang for your buck. What I do want to share with you now is, and I'm going to go to this screen now, we do offer residential trash, and we have some different receptacles that we pick up trash in. And of course, you've asked for us to look at the automated or the no-touch as far as your trash. Do I need to share screen? Do you mind to share the screen with me, Mayor? Can you hear me, Mayor?
I can hear you, Stubby. Do you have an option in your application that says a green button that says share screen? Can you see that?
We do. We're there now.
Okay, so you go ahead and hit share screen, and everybody that's in the room should have an opportunity to jump on your screen.
Okay.
What are you seeing on your side, Stubby?
I see something different. We're going to go to the first with the two receptacles.
There we go. All right, we're in.
The two garbage, one with the blue lid. Okay, that's what they say. Okay. Here we have, of course, I don't see it because I don't have the monitor right with me. Here we have a all blue, what we call a cart. Is a poly cart is what it's commonly called within the industry. But you see an all blue poly cart, and you see a poly cart with a yellow lid. That all blue poly cart, both of them are 95-gallon carts, and the all blue one is what we commonly in our company, the standard is the 95-gallon trash cart. the yellow lid sets apart the recycling. And I know that y'all are interested in the recycling. And so those are both 95-gallon carts. One is, like I said, the all blue is for trash, and the one with the yellow lid is for recycling, both of them 95. So the next picture you're going to see is the two carts with they both have yellow lids.
Stobie, if you can hear me, I think that's what we were just looking at right there. Were two carts with both you had yellow lids on them.
Okay, let's go back to that then if we can, John. Okay, the carts, I apologize for that. One of the carts should have been all blue, which is trash. So now you have the WCA cart on the left, which is the 95-gallon cart. And then you have the other blue cart with the yellow lid, and it says Sierra on it. That's a 65-gallon cart.
Okay.
And so some communities want a smaller recycle container, and that's certainly smaller than the 95-gallon cart. Then the next one we'll show has the 65. It may have all of them, but it has like an 18-gallon, what we call a tub, an 18-gallon tub.
Mm-hmm.
That's commonly used in some municipalities. Of course, it's a manual tub, so we don't have a truck that lifts those. But in that picture there, you have all four. You have a 95 starting from the left to the right. The all blue can is the garbage can. The yellow can is a 95-gallon recycle can. Then you have a 65-gallon recycle cart. And then you have the 18-gallon recycle tub. And so with that being said, it depends on what you want to do, how you want to do it. You want to go with a automated service. And certainly the 18-gallon tub is not something that is automated. The last picture I'm going to show you is the truck that we would be using for the automated service there in Lonoke. And this is what we bid the city of Cabot with. I'm not exactly sure what the compacted yardage is on that truck, but those are the type trucks that we'll be using in the city of Cabot. Those same automated, it's called an ALS, which is an automated side loader. And so that's the truck that we've bid out, and it's going to be a very similar truck to that. So with that being said, that's the equipment that we'll be using. Some of the things I want to share with you, I think if you look at the trash side of stuff, whenever you go out to do your proposal for a bid, I think that to be real honest with you and to be fair with you, I think that we will be very competitive with your current rates going to an automated side loader and us providing carts. I know that I've watched some of your YouTube meetings, and I know that there's been some talk around town about the possibility of recycling. I will tell you that the cost of recycling is a very market-driven based business. With that being said, the market on our commodities is way down. So China used to buy every bit of cardboard, every bit of plastic, every bit of glass. Now nobody's buying hardly anything. So the market on those commodities being traded in is very low. So therefore, it's costly to recycle. So it costs a lot more to recycle than it does to throw garbage in a landfill. And when I say that, I'm just going to throw out some numbers. Just on a big round figure, it costs us about $30 per ton to throw away trash in a landfill. Right now, in some of our markets, it costs us close to $80 a ton to get rid of recyclables. So it costs us a lot more to dispose of those. And we are anticipating the fourth quarter markets on recycling commodities to be at about $110 a ton. So with that being said, the cost of recycling is going up, and the disposing of trash is staying about the same. It's not. I'm not trying to steer you away from recycling. Recycling is a very responsible thing to do, but only if you're willing to pay for it. So we can do whatever you want to do. Trash once a week, recycling once a week. We can offer all different kind of carts. If you want to go fully automated on both, I'd certainly stay with either the 65 or the 95-gallon cart for recycling, as well as, since you do not currently do recycling, education of the citizens is going to be key to this deal. A lot of people throw away pizza boxes. It's got grease all over it. Well, that pizza box is a spoiled piece of material going into that recycling. We don't recycle styrofoam. We don't recycle Walmart bags. You know, a lot of those things aren't recyclable, and you just got to educate people. So if you throw a bunch of that stuff into your recycle bin to be recycled, then that whole entire load becomes a spoiled or a contaminated load and has to go to the landfill anyway. But since you're starting out, you know, you may want to think about doing, you know, garbage with a 95-gallon cart once a week and recycling with a 95-gallon cart every other week. And that's certainly an option too. So we will bid whatever your proposal says. You can do all different kinds of bids. But that's just to kind of show you. Right now, we do recycling in some of our communities. We do trash and, you know, trash and all of them. But the more and more the cost of the commodities is certainly driving the cost to recycle up. And so at this point, Mayor, I'd like to open up the floor for any questions that anybody may have.
Stubby, thanks with the presentation. I can tell you there's a slide I wanted to kind of go over with everybody, but I can just speak to it, to be honest with you. What we did is we opened up a Google Doc it's called a Google form, and we put it on our social media, and I asked for input. Now there were 5 questions, one of which centered around recycling program. And I was very clear about the fact that recycling program would cost us more. There was going to be added cost to it. Okay. But I think it's a responsibility that we each have to look into our hearts, figure out something we want to do. Now I got 130 responses out of that. Okay. And that's the nice thing about these Google forms is you can get a sampling size, and out of a town of 4,200 folks, I think 130 is a decent sampling size. All right. And in that Google form, 29% of the folks said they did not want a recycling option. 32.5% said that they did. And another 32.5% said that they did, but every other week. Okay. So what you have is essentially out of 130 folks that participated, 66% roundabouts, if you will, would be interested in some form of recycling. Okay. And I put that out there for the council's consideration. I've got one question, Stubby. I'll keep it simple because I'd love to hear from the council, their thoughts. We're about 10 minutes ahead right now. And so that's good. My question is this: how do you guys manage, let's say we go with carts and I move, I don't want to take my cart with me. Right. So how does WCA and how does City of Lonoke manage that cart for a resident that's moving out of town or moving into town and needs to get a cart? What's that look like, and how do you keep track of them?
So Mayor, a lot of times what we do, and it's different everywhere. You know, in Arkansas County, they wanted us to pick them up because they're out in the rural area, and not to say that that you have it everywhere, but you know, there's a possibility of that cart coming up missing and somebody else using it or whatever. But in town, you know, a lot of times, let's just say that, you know, most communities, the cart would stay with the home, and so whoever the new homeowner would be would keep that cart there.
Okay, so in theory, that's great, but I'm sure in practice, if I move to Little Rock, I'm probably gonna take my nice shiny blue garbage can with me. So how does that work out? Does the city end up paying for that? Does the homeowner pay for that? How does WCA keep a neutral balance on those garbage cans that find themselves in other cities?
That's a great question, Mayor. So just so you know, is that if you move to the city of Little Rock, the city of Little Rock is not going to pick up anything out of that WCA cart. If you move to the city of wherever that does not have WCA service, we're not going to pick up trash out of that cart. Now, if you move out in the county, you can probably take that cart and take it to the county dump. Like you know, I live out in the county, so I take mine to one of the dumping facilities that we pay for with the county. But with that being said, the city wouldn't be responsible for that can. Of course, we would certainly hope that you know, that we would get assistance, you know, trying to locate some of those carts. We do also in most of our municipalities offer an additional cart per resident at an additional cost. And so on all of our routes and all of our municipalities, we have a route sheet, and that route sheet will show whether or not there's one cart or 2 carts. And if there's 2 carts at a house that's only marked with 1 cart, then we would remove one of those carts because it didn't belong at that house. but the city would not be responsible for paying for it at that time.
All right, I'll open the floor to any other questions the council has for Stubby.
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Alice, we specifically asked you about the automated side loader, but do you have the rear loading trucks with the automatic tippers that we could request?
You certainly could, Alice, but let me tell you the reason for going automated is to, number one, and that's the way, of course, we're going to bid it however you want to bid it. But if we do the no touch, then or the automated service, then that's not going to be something, as far as most rear loaders that run residential routes have cart tippers. And so that is the possibility. However, in our industry, a lot of municipalities are moving towards an automated service because, like most other occupations, the solid waste industry has a very high workers' compensation rate because of lifting heavy garbage cans. And so with that being said, it's certainly a possibility. We've tried to move into a direction of automated service, but if we're interested in it, we'll certainly bid it with a rear loader with cart tippers. But that's not something that we anticipated in this process because we were told to show what we offered as far as a no-touch service.
Okay, thank you. I just wondered if it was even available.
It is, but at that point, you have a much more labor-intensive service that you're requesting, and so then you have to have a driver, and you almost have to have another person to get out and take that cart to the back of the truck and then tip it, because now you have to set it within 6 feet of the curb on an automated service, and then an arm comes out, picks it up, and dumps it in the trash, sets it back down, and moves it to where it was sitting before. And so it's not so labor intensive, but certainly it's something that we would consider, I'm sure. So.
Okay, and I had thought of one more question. Since you do the automated, in order to get additional garbage picked up, a home would have to have an additional trash can. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Unless the bid specification will request anything else. But when you bid an automated service, the automated service is most likely one person on that truck, and they operate an arm from inside the truck, which is a much safer way of disposing of household solid waste.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, Stubby.
Yes, sir.
This is Coy Beller. I was wondering, what other towns around us and around similar size to us do y'all service?
We service, give me just a second. We service Brinkley. Arkansas County has, because I think you have about 15 to 1,600 customers. Arkansas County has 1,800 residential customers. Brinkley, Humphrey, like I said, we just got the nod for Cabot, which has about 8,600 houses. But we have 20. We also operate, the other place that I is Oklahoma, and we have a lot of communities the same size in Oklahoma. But I certainly can give you a reference list of those municipalities once the bid goes out. But those are some of them. Coy, England, Carlisle, and those cities over there. We do all those. Matter of fact, one of our landfills that we own is our landfill's not that far from one.
All right. I guess my next question is, let's say like an England or a Brinkley. Could you tell me, do they do the garbage and the recycle, or do they just do one? And if they do the recycle, do they do it every other week? And what size cans do they?
A lot of those municipalities do not do planning district that they participate in. And like I said, right now, as far as the part of the commodities, it's almost cost prohibitive to do those loads to those separation facilities that some of them are done. But recycling is not common in most of the municipalities that we currently provide. But I will tell you this, Cabot, Cabot is going. It's a weekly trash service, weekly recycling service, as well as yard waste and bulk waste. But y'all currently do your own yard waste and vacuum truck, and which wouldn't be something that you would need in your bid, of course. But it just all depends. Some cities are holding off on the recycling just because of the market right now.
Are there any other questions?
I thought of one more thing. Mr. Stimbaugh, you mentioned that the public would have to be educated on recycling. Does your company provide information, or would that be the city's responsibility?
Well, it's certainly something that we would, if the bid specifications say that we need to educate, a lot of those things don't come without a cost. But we do have, we do now have on our WCA website stuff that is recyclable. And certainly that's something we could share with your page, your website, your Facebook page, and all the other stuff. But we would certainly be a partner in the education process of that. And we could even go into some of the schools, should they ever open back fully. But we would even go into some of the schools and help educate the kids on that, because it's no different than anything else. When you educate a child on something, they get passionate about it. They're going to certainly educate their parents and everybody else about that process. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Stubby, this is Matt Cordell. I got a question for you. And I could ask it to all the folks today, but currently, the setup we're on where you carry your trash out and it's manually thrown in there. How does that, just in generalities, how does that stack up cost-wise to this automated system? I would think if you have less people, that's, I just was curious if this was typically a more expensive thing, or if, how that worked with WCA.
Well, I don't know that your current provider provides you with trash receptacles, but certainly if you go automated, that would be something that we would do. And it kind of has a twofold deal to it. At that point, everybody has the same color trash can, the blue trash can. They all look pretty. It makes your neighborhoods look nicer. But as far as the cost, as I said in my opening, I think if you stick to just trash, that will be very competitive with your current rates. But because we move. Because we as an industry are, in the larger companies, like we're a larger company. Now we're far from the largest company in the industry, but we're a pretty good sized company being in the 10 states that we're in. We're moving more towards automated service. And it's because you have a higher percentage rate of your, what we call helpers getting off that truck, of getting hit by a vehicle. And so, as far as cost associated with it, we're going to have a cost for all the 1,600 carts, however many you have, plus the automated truck that we're providing is going to be more expensive because it has more moving parts. But we lessen the opportunity for our employees to get injured in any way, whether it be from lifting or by other traffic. And so I think when you talk about cost and the bidding process, I think we're going to be very competitive with your current provider. And I hope that answered your question, Matt.
I'm sorry, I was muted. It does. I know that's a concern of some citizens as far as what they're getting now versus what, in dollars and cents and all that. I think everybody would love to do this if they could fit all their stuff in there, and no doubt it's going to look better and be safer for your employees. But almighty dollar, folks, we're going to want to figure it out. Thank you.
Another thing too, Matt, to follow that up is I like I said, I watched some of your meetings online because listen, Lone Oak's been on my radar and WCA's radar as a municipality we'd like to service. We bid the last time, and I don't remember what WCA bid at that point, but I know that there's some concern about trash being set outside the receptacles. But when you have trash set outside the receptacles, and listen, I've not seen a loose dog in Lone Oak. I go to Lone Oak all the time. I'm chairman of the election commission for Lone Oak County, and I go to the courthouse all the time. I don't see any loose dogs, but there's always that possibility. If you have trash outside a receptacle, then there's that opportunity for something getting into it or whatever and strolling it. But as far as the cost, a 95-gallon cart, that's 100 gallons. That's bigger than a 55-gallon drum. That's a lot of trash. Your national average is around 40 to 43 pounds of trash per house. One of the things that other communities that we've worked in, there was one community that had unlimited trash at one time, and that unlimited trash was approximately 65 pounds per house. Well, they went automated, and once they went automated, it went down to about 40 to 43 pounds per house. What happens is a lot of times people that live out in the county, they'll bring their trash into the city and put it at one of their kin folks or their neighbor's house or a friend's house where they don't have to pay for it to be picked up. I think when you talk, apples to apples, certainly if there's trash outside the cart on an automated trash service, it's not something that most of the time we're going to pick up unless that's a part of the bid specifications. But that will increase the cost if you go automated and you have to, you're expecting to pick up, trash outside the cart. At that time, we'd want them to get an extra cart, and I'm not sure what that cost would be. We would put that as a part of the bid if you go out for bid and you want the extra cart to be a part of the bid process.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Stubby, we're almost at our time right now, but I'm still waiting for another vendor to log in. So when I got you, I got two quick things, and you kind of hit on it, but not really in detail. And that is our elderly population. Okay. There's an education piece of this we talked about, but there's a lot of folks who have grown accustomed to setting bags out next to the garbage can. Okay. So that's going to take some time. If we were into a no-touch contract, to educate the community that, hey, if you've got bags sitting out next to your trash can, those aren't going to get picked in. They have to be in the bag, okay, or in the can. And then you've got some elderly folks, okay, who may look at a 96-gallon trash can and say, that's overwhelming. I can't get that out to the street. All right. So if you could speak to that quickly. And then secondly, what about the mechanics of the no-touch loader raises the arm up above the height of the truck. So do we have limb issues? Do we have power line issues? Things that, the community has never had to deal with? Is that something we would have to address? How do you guys get around that?
Thank you, Mayor. Those are both great questions. Let me hit on the height first, and I'll hit on the elderly last. The height is it's not really being lifted up over the truck. It's being lifted to the side of the truck. If you'll notice, can I show you this picture again of this side loader truck, Mayor?
Yeah,
let me show you the side loader truck.
Just go ahead and share the screen.
Yes, sir. So that side loader truck, it's going up into that, up into the side. See where the yellow arm is? Yeah, give me just a second there. There you go. It goes up into the side of that bucket. So it don't really go up over the truck. So height isn't going to be an issue as far as that. There is some trucks called the Corrado truck that it has a bucket on the front. That arm goes out of the side of that bucket in front of the truck, and then it dumps it into that kind of a dumpster in the front. And then that front dumpster has to be emptied into the top of the truck. That's when you have issues. But it is very uncommon for us to have height issues in the ASL, the automated side loader trucks. And I hope that answered your question. Certainly we would do a safety analysis of the streets to make sure, and I don't see that being an issue at all, Mayor. And I hope that answered that question. On the elderly, some of the communities that we go automated and they get these 95-gallon carts, some people say, well, I can't roll that. We go out and we try to help them and show them. And listen, if it's an issue and you have an elderly customer and they absolutely cannot pick up that cart, if they call the city and the city approves them of being disabled or don't have the ability to bring it out to the road, and the city approves it, we will go up there to their house and get that cart at no additional cost to those. But certainly we would hope that the city recognizes that in everything there is abuse. And so we certainly would, if the city says that they're elderly, they can't bring that cart out, we would provide that service at no additional cost to the citizens.
Would y'all consider giving them a 65-gallon can instead of a 95, or is it 95 for everybody for the adjustment of the arm?
Of course, the adjustment of the arms, and so when those things come out, they clamp in, and of course the base is smaller on a 65-gallon cart, and there would be a risk of that. But we would certainly, we could talk about anything, and of course, the issue with that is, and I'll just tell you, is that if you don't offer everybody a 95-gallon cart, then sometimes you have legal issues that we didn't offer them the same type service. But everybody has to pay the same amount. But if you offer them a lesser cart, then you have issues of not offering them the same service, and then it may become some type of illegal exaction issue. But that's certainly something that you could figure out. We could talk about and negotiate if we are awarded the contract. So.
I thought of one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
I noticed on your truck, the automatic loader arm is on the right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Does the truck have to make 2 runs around the street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Because it's all loaded from the right side.
Okay. So it's covering the streets twice.
Yes, ma'am. And some garbage companies drive on the left side of the road, which is illegal. And certainly we have to maintain and operate under the guidelines of the DOT, because all of our drivers have a commercial driver's license, and driving on the wrong side of the road is not something that we even instruct our drivers to do because of the legality issues.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, Stubby, that was absolute perfect timing because our next vendor just logged in. So I want to say thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Mayor, thank you, and I look forward to visiting with y'all. And listen, you've got my phone number. If you have any other questions, I don't mind answering them. My experience in being an elected official, also in the garbage industry, I kind of cover both sides, and I'll be more than happy to help in any way that I can.
Well, you did a good job tonight, and wish you best of luck when we get this RP released. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, and thank you to the members of the council.
You have a good night.
You too.
All right, guys, our next vendor is waiting in the lobby, so I'm going to let them in. This is our current contract provider. This is Clay Phillips. I don't know if his wife Noelle is going to be with us. They're great people. Really enjoyed talking to him. And they actually are the new owners of Douglas Trash Services. And so I'm going to let them in here and introduce them real quick, and then we'll go through the same song and dance. We'll allow them the floor to speak. And if you guys have questions, then we'll work through that. Okay. Hey, Clay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Got you just fine. Is that Miss Noelle?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hey, guys. Really appreciate you guys logging in with us tonight. We got the city council with us. And what we're talking about tonight is we just want to provide you with an opportunity to talk to us about Douglas Trash Services, why Lone Oak's on your radar, what you guys can provide. And our focus items have been kind of standardized trash cans, no touch service, or tipping, I guess is what you call, where we get the garbage can upside down and we get the black water, the gray water out, because that helps us with our mosquito issues and the stench and just getting the old refuse out of the bottom of the cans. And then lastly would be, you know, the recycling options. So I'm gonna just turn the floor over to you guys. We got about 25 minutes. I want you to have as much time as possible. And then hopefully we'll have 5 or 10 minutes at the end of your time to answer and take questions. Okay. So sir, the floor is yours.
Okay. My name is Clay Phillips. My wife, Noelle. We're a small family-owned company. I've been in the refuse business most of my life, and we started running Douglas in 2016. As far as we can provide the cans that you guys are wanting, we're looking at doing that at close to the same cost as what we're doing now. We can also provide the recycling. Just depends on, you know, how the city, we can work with you guys however y'all want to set that up. There's options if the city would want to purchase the carts and do them in the city colors. That's something that to be, you know, thought about. If not, we've got the blue, which I've got a picture of that. I don't know how many have ever y'all seen the can that I brought over.
Yeah, so you, Clay, they probably don't have a clue that you brought a garbage can by here today, and so I'll go ahead and tell the council just because it's been busy, and the goal was to kind of push a message out because I'd like the public to come by and see. But what Clay has done is he dropped by today and he said, "Hey, Mayor, if I can, I'd like to go ahead and leave a garbage can out here for you as a demo." Okay, so what he did is he dropped off a 96-gallon standard can for a demonstration model, essentially. So I would encourage you guys to come by, check it out. Surprisingly, it's incredibly lightweight for its size. That was probably the biggest surprise to me. But anyways, Clay, feel free to go ahead and tell the council kind of the conversation that we had about how you monitor them, the stickers. We talked about the concerns with that, the fading of the top of the can, and anything else that you'd like us to know.
Well, there's like I was saying, there's a lot of options with the cans. We can do them in our blue and then get black lids so that, you know, that they don't fade. Obviously, if we purchase a large quantity like that, we would have them what they call hot stamped, which would, rather than the one that I brought over for a demo has like a sticker logo on it, it would have our logo hot stamped in it, which again, if the city wanted to purchase the cans for the city, we could do the city's colors, and then we could have, you know, the mascot or something like that, City of Lodon hot stamped on there. They do have the serial number for every can to identify it that's already hot stamped on. The company that we use is called Cascade. They've been around for a very long time. They're top-notch trash can, you know, cart, very good quality. It's easy to get parts for them. If a wheel breaks, if a lid breaks, we can replace that stuff very easily. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
You just give us a breakdown and description of the cans. You talked about the serial numbers, the wheels, and the mascot, the colors, and whatever else.
The company that we get the cans from, they actually make them from recycled material, which is something cool I didn't know until I was looking at their website earlier. I've got some dimensions on them too, like a little brochure. If anybody's interested in that, I could email that over to you. The cans cost about $50 a piece. Of course, the more you buy, the better price we can get on them. We can probably get them down to about $48, $47 a piece would be, you know, my cost on them. And again, that depends on which way we want to go. If you guys want to purchase them, and then it'd be something y'all keep no matter who provides your service, or, you know, we can provide our DTS blue cans. The recycle, a couple people has brought up some pretty good ideas on a couple of different ways we can do that. We can either provide another recycle cart, separate, it's a different color, be a little smaller than the 96 gallon, probably about a 40 or 40 to 60 gallon can. That would be an additional cost per house. It would also be another truck on the road running the streets. I know something that you guys are looking at is keeping the traffic down for maintenance on the roads. So someone had mentioned the idea of placing containers at various locations for the ones who wanted to recycle. We could do that, and that would keep the cost down and also keep another truck from going down the roads.
Clay, can you just kind of, I know you and Noel have been in the trash business, refuse business, waste management industry for a while, right? I don't fully know your background, but I know this isn't your first rodeo. And this is more of an educational session. So can you talk to us a little bit about why it's important to kind of minimize the traffic on the roads? I mean, essentially it comes down to road maintenance, right? Because you have a 5 or 7 year contract with the waste management company. You don't ever think about how much tonnage is rolling up and down this road every week, maybe 2 tracks twice every week. And so can you just kind of speak a little bit about that, what's important, and maybe what we need to be thinking about as a council?
Yes. Well, trash is heavy. Waste is heavy. There's no way around it. The difference in our trucks, we have the rear load trucks with the tippers on the back. We're going to manually pull them over to the truck and dump them. We can go down almost every street one time. An automated truck, if you look at that, they're going to have to go down the street, every street twice. Those trucks are also heavier, and they don't hold as much. They don't compact, but they're a bigger truck, and all the extra equipment adds weight to them. So that's why we always have the idea of staying with the rear load, keeping people employed and giving a hands-on service. There's several elderly folks over there that we actually go up to the door and get their trash and bring it out, take their can back to their house. That's something that you typically lose with an automated system. And something that I would like to be able to do versus, what we experience in the city, like in Cabot. I live in the city of Cabot, and they provide the cans, but they will not get out of the truck. They will not pick up anything additional. So I know that one of the goals here is to, make things look better, more uniform, and get away from the piles of trash that are sitting out. But we could still pick up, if everybody makes a little extra trash every now and again. The holidays, Thanksgiving, those times, you may have a little bit extra, but not enough to warrant having or paying for an additional trash can. And so, if somebody sets out a couple bags or whatever, we can pick that up. That's something to think about.
I got 2 more things I want you to kind of address for us, and then we can either let you close or follow up with any questions I'm sure some of the council members have. 2 things. So your trash cans have serial numbers on them. Okay.
Yes,
And so from a city's perspective, if I'm going to get the best product for the residents, I want to do as least amount of work as possible for the best price possible. Okay. And so I don't want to put any extra work that I have to on my water department. So how do we manage that garbage can that's got a serial number on it? And somebody comes and opens up a water account. They move in from another state, right? And they're owed a garbage can. So how do they get tied in? to this system? What's that look like? And then when they move, all right, who tracks that? Who tracks that trash can, and what's that look like? And if they take the trash can with them, is there a penalty to that? So can you speak to kind of the technicalities of how you guys expect the city to partner with you so that there's some type of oversight on those tracked garbage cans? That's the first question. And then we'll get into a little bit of the recycling piece after that, but go ahead and stay focused on that for us.
As far as that goes, you know, we expect that there is going to be some loss. They're not cheap, but you know, it's just part of doing business as we consider, you know, I mean, we have several carts out in our residential routes and occasionally we lose one, but that is something we'll take full responsibility for. I don't know a good answer on how to track that. It's something we can work together on. As far as I don't have a problem leaving the can there. I was talking to Leslie or Michelle earlier about that question you just brought up. You know, for the new resident, the only issue that I have is it's not about, you know, losing the can or whatever. It's more about if somebody has, you know, a nasty trash can from them using it, and then a new person moves in, then they're stuck with that dirty can. So the best thing, if there's, I mean, y'all know when they move in, somebody new moves in because they start the water, right? So if at that time y'all could just contact us and let us know what address, what we can do is just come out and swap that can out with a fresh, clean can.
Okay.
And we'll take care of tracking the numbers and addresses and all that stuff on our end.
Okay. And then the second piece here is just kind of, I want you to speak a little bit to the recycling part of this. We created a Google form to kind of get some input from the community. Town of 4,200, we had about 130 different responses to a question that you know, was posed and said, hey, would you be interested in a recycling program despite any added cost? You know, if we had a waste management contract that allowed you to recycle, and for what we ended up getting out of 130 responses was a breakdown of 29% said no, we don't want to participate. 32.5% said yes, we do. And then another 32.5% said yes, we do want to recycle, but we want to do it every other week. So what that tells me is that we have 2/3 of our community out of a sample size, again, of 130 that participated. And it's not inclusive. That's why we have a city council here, right? Who can tap into their community and ask their constituents questions and represent them at the council. But getting that feedback is important to me. And that tells me that we've got you know, 2/3 of the community has an interest in recycling. And I think we as a council probably should consider doing it every other week, maybe once a month. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about us an estimate that would be an intermittent recycling program?
If we did it, you know, at the curb and added another cart, providing the cart, $3 to $5 a house more a month would be.
And that's one time a month. So
that would be a weekly or bi-weekly service.
Okay. Well, we can let you work the details of the costs and everything. I just want to know what you are capable of providing once a week, twice a week, once a month.
We're capable of doing it whichever way that works for you guys.
Do you provide a separate trash can for that, or a trash bin that might be, you know, more handheld or manual?
We can. They would be similar to the trash carts. They would just be smaller, like a 40 to 60 gallon cart. That would be like a mixed recycling, and then we would have a dedicated truck to come and run the recycling.
Yes, sir.
So it'd be a separate truck.
Okay, that's all I've got for you. I'm going to open up to the council if they got any questions for you guys. Are there any questions from the council?
I had one question. I was wondering what other cities, besides ours, but approximately our size, do y'all service, and then do you provide them with the recycle option, or are they participating in the recycle option?
We're a very small company. You guys are the only city we have.
I got you.
We have 3 other residential routes and 2 other commercial routes, but other than that, you guys are our main focus.
Okay, thank you. Y'all do a great job.
Thank you.
I had a question. You mentioned that the 96-gallon trash cans would be maybe around $60. Would that cost be worked into your bid, or would you expect the city to purchase the cans? How did you have that?
We can include that in our bid. That I was just putting that out there because sometimes the cities do like to purchase them themselves. It gives them the option to do their own colors and those sort of things. But you know, it brings a lot of responsibility too. You know, if you guys own them, then you know you've got to, like Trey was talking about earlier, tracking them and things like that. And then, you know, repairing them or replacing them later, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's up to you guys which way we do that. And, you know, we can take the responsibility, purchase them, and then continue doing what we're doing for you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions, guys? If there's not, then Clay, I'm gonna let you sign out. And I want to tell you thank you. Noel, thank you too.
Thank you.
You guys are, I'll be honest with you, I really enjoyed talking to you. Great demeanor. And I really appreciate what you guys have been providing the city so far. So I'm going to wish you the absolute best of luck in this RFP we're going to release. And if you have questions, contact me. All right. And I would tell the council too, if you guys want to further investigate or ask questions, you guys can look them up, Douglas Trash Services on Google, and call them, and Noelle answers the phone. She's very prompt. So guys, thanks again for your time. All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, for the council, I've actually got Mr. Rathbun from Green Environmental on the horn with me right now. He's on the phone. So if you would just give me 2 minutes, I'm gonna try and talk him through this. He's having some issues with the link like some of us have. So just be patient with me. We'll try to get him on here, okay? All right, we have conquered the Zoom, and it looks like Mr. Wayne is going to be able to join us. I got you. I'm going to take you off mute, Mr. Rathman. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I've got you on mute, so go ahead. There we go. Okay. All right. Everybody, this is Mr. Rathman with Green Environmental Services. They're out of BB. And Mr. Wayne, we are discussing with the council. This is an educational session so that the council can learn what all is involved with the trash industry. Okay, what options that we might like to ask in an RFP, and we're reviewing our contract. And we welcome you. We're glad you're here. And so I'm not going to waste any more time. And I'm going to hand it over to you, sir. Feel free to give us a quick introduction and what Green is about and how you think Lone Oak could benefit from what you guys have to offer us.
Well, we thank you for the opportunity to come on here and talk about what we do. We have been in BB since 2017. Our contract started March 1st, 2017. We've been servicing Bald Knob. We started Bald Knob last August, and we started Judsonia in April of 2018. So each year we've kind of added the town. A little bit about myself. I was the senior district manager at Waste Management, oversaw the state, Little Rock, Texarkana, Pine Bluff, Russellville. Saw those locations, worked there for about 20 years. Left there, was in Louisiana because I had a non-compete in Arkansas. Went to Louisiana for 3 years, saw my non-compete end, and then decided we'd like to do it on our own. We were kind of tired of the corporate structure, and everything kind of became about making money, not about taking care of the customer. So I joined a partner who worked for Waste Connections for about 30 years in the industry. And we brought Green Environmental to Arkansas. So we're a hometown hauler. We're not interested in the big towns. We really like the smaller communities because we like to get involved, contribute, and be a partner with the community and take care of their service, one of their needs, which is sanitation. I know that there are some questions as far as going to an automated system or going to a cart system. We use that. We use a cart system in our communities. I like it. It's a little cleaner. We currently do it manually. We do a touch system. I think an automated system is a little safer, and I think in a perfect world, it's great. But we don't always live in a perfect world. Things have to happen. You have to have so much space. It's a big education. If you've got trash overfilling a container, which you will have, it's not the cleanest process. I like my guys being outside. They touch it. They make sure that it's in the truck and it's cleaned up. They have an extra bag. We're there on the ground. If something spills, we pick it up. When we get through, we close the lid, we set it back, and it looks like we've never been there. Matter of fact, Tuesday, I got a call during the rainstorm, said, your truck just drove right by us and didn't get us. I knew we'd picked it up because I ran it. So I got in my truck, ran over there, showed the lady their can was empty and took it up to her, showed it was empty. But that's how clean we do it. You can't tell we've been down the street once we've been down it. And that's where we're a little different. We take a little more time and just make sure that the customer is taken care of. We're a small company, but we do some things for our employees. We do health insurance for our employees, which is kind of unheard of for a company under 10 employees. We have a 401k. We have our insurance, like in BB, we have a $5 million policy. We are covered, bonded, and we make sure that what we do is it's just the ethical and right way. You know, if you do it right, you don't have to be real smart. I'm not smart enough not to do it right or to tell things that aren't true. We're very involved in our community. I'm very proud we were nominated for Business of the Year in BB. We were the runner-up to ASU BB, who was well deserving. We've started Keep BB Beautiful here. We started annual cleanups. We're big in the chamber. We cook at the 4th of July. We are part of the community. We don't come in and grab trash, throw cans, leave, and are gone. We participate in our communities, and I think some of that's what separates us. And we're about the smaller communities and taking care of their trash. And I've been in the business for 25 years. My partner's been in it 30. We know the business. We've done it with the big companies. We've taken the good from them, and we've left some of the other stuff that we didn't need. And what I mean, just we don't have to answer to Wall Street. All we have to do is take care, feed our people's families, feed our families, and that's what we're about. Pretty simple. Anything you need to know, we can do. We do recycle in BB. We do it every other week. When I was with Waste, we did it every other week in Little Rock, North Little Rock, Sherwood, and Maumelle, kind of the Pulaski County Solid Waste District. We do the same process here. We do it every other week. It works here. Bald Knob is about to start it. They've gotten a grant from the White River Valley Solid Waste District. We're going to start doing recycling there. Probably the first of the year. The mayor and I talked about it Monday. We're going to meet next Monday to discuss some details. I would probably get with the Central Arkansas Planning to see what's available for Lone Oak. I know Leanne. I don't know her personally, but I've spoke with her and dealt with her when I was at Waste. And I think we could bring a lot to you. So I'm ready to answer questions or tell you how I might do it or whatever you would like. I'll go from there. I'm probably a better answer than I am a talker.
You're doing great, Wayne. Thanks. Is there any questions from the council? Wayne, I'm going to open up then. You guys, you've already mentioned you can provide standardized trash cans for the communities, yes. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are they labeled in some way? You guys keep track of them? And if you do, what's the process look in terms of how somebody moves to Lone Oak with or without a trash can from their older city, and then they get a water account here? And then the water office has to contact Green and say, hey, Wayne, we've got 6 or 7 new customers this month. Okay. How do you get them that new trash can? And if they leave and they close out a water can, what's that communication piece between a city and your company look like in terms of transferring the hands of a trash can? And if somebody takes it away, is there a penalty for it? How do we manage that?
In Bald Knob, we are very, very active. In BB, it's not as active as far as taking a can away every time that a resident moves. In the water bill, they let them know that's the property of, that belongs to that house and it stays there. In Bald Knob, we actually go and we make movements twice a month, first of the month and about the 3rd week, from move-ins, move-outs. So we pull it, every can that we put out has a serial number and it's associated with an address. So we'll go, and if you have 2 move-outs and 2 move-ins, then your number stays the same, but we will go and get 2 cans from those that move out, and we'll deliver those to those that move in. So it's, we handle that. And like I said, we go down twice a month, and we let the residents know it'll be 2 weeks normally.
Okay. Can you speak to us a little bit about the recycling program? And I've mentioned this will be the 3rd time, but I want the public to catch it. And I want the vendors to be aware too. The reason we're looking into recycling is because we've kind of opened this question up to the public. We got 130 responses out of a town of about 4,200 folks. And so we look at 130 as a decent sampling size. And of that 130, we asked a candid question about recycling options despite added cost. Would you want it? Would you not want it? If it reduced the cost and you could still have it, would you do it every other week or so? And from those numbers, We got about 30% that said, no, we don't want anything to do with it. We're going to use a recycling program, so we don't want to pay for it. We got 32.5% that said, yes, we do want to recycle. And then we got another 32.5% that said, yes, we want to cycle. However, we want to recycle every other week at a reduced cost. So looking at those, like I said, 130 folks is a sampling size that we're going off of. And then we have a city council here to kind of make a decision based off of discussions and interactions that they're having with their constituents. If we go with, say, we frame the RFP to say Lone Oak is asking for an every other week or once a month recycling option. All right. What are we going to get from Green? Is that going to be an additional garbage can? Is that going to be a garbage bin? How do you guys manage this recycling program? How would you manage it?
Well, what we do currently in, what we do currently in BB is I have recycling bins on my site. When we have a request, we deliver 1 or 2 bins, depending on how many they request, to an address. So we have them on site. In Bald Knob, we will probably keep some at the water department, where if there's an immediate need, they could come there and pick it up. But we use an 18-gallon bin. Kind of looks, well, looks like a laundry basket, but solid, if you will. About 18 inches high, 2.5 foot long. Just an open bin that they carry. That's the most economical, because you're probably talking about $10 a bin. If you go to a cart, say we're to go to a 64-gallon cart like they use in Little Rock, North Little Rock, you're talking about $40, $45 a cart. So you have a little more cost. And what I don't like about the cart is the contamination. I like the bin because I can see it. We put our hands on it, we dump it. If we have glass or if we have non-recyclables, we can identify them. If you're dumping it into a truck, automated truck, you don't see what goes in there. And then your cost is on the back end on the processing, because recycle is not free. It's more expensive to process recyclables than it is to put it in a landfill on the cost side. So there is a misconception that it's cheaper, but since China put the big sword in and stopped taking our material, or what they call our trash, which is what it was, it's harder and harder to move commodities, and the processing fees have gone up and up.
Two questions of the recycling piece here. And we haven't asked this yet, but can I recycle? What all can I recycle? And does it all go into the same bin? Can I put glass on top of cardboard, on top of aluminum? And so there's that. And then what's that look like? And then secondly, what about a chain of custody that the city can maintain and partner with to make sure that the recycling products that we are putting in a bin is not ending up on Trash Hill somewhere, that it's actually being recycled for good? Because I've had some conversations where I know there are maybe some unethical practices that, recycling goods aren't actually being recycled. They're being thrown away.
That is a great question. We get a ticket from the processing center that we take it to, and I run a copy of it each month and send it to BB, just as a backup so they know it. So that would be one thing that you would get from us, would be a copy of our processing ticket. All the material that we take is what we call a single stream, although it's depending on what size container or what type of bin that you want to put in your RFP. We mix ours. Now, we do not take glass. Our recycle center will not take glass. Just the residual value, what it does to the contamination, because when you put it in a truck, it gets compacted. And when that glass breaks, it contaminates the other products, especially the paper products. We take plastic bottles, whether that be what they call PET. Don't make me say the word, it's propylene, whatever. But PET, we take HDPE, which are the gallon jugs. We take aluminum cans, we take steel cans, which are food containers. We take newspaper, cardboard, white paper, And those are the main items that we take that our recycle center will allow us to bring in and keep our processing costs down. So we do not take glass. And I think they just moved glass out of Little Rock as well. I could be wrong, but I believe they did.
Are there any questions from the council?
Well, I can tell you this, our company and our business model is a small town business model. I don't care about the large towns. We like the smaller towns because in a smaller town, we can integrate ourselves into the community. We can participate. You kind of get lost in the bigger towns, but the smaller towns seem to appreciate that. And that's kind of what we're about. And all I can say is that we do it differently. We take a lot of pride in what we do. Most of my guys that work for me, the three on the truck in BB are from BB. The guy on the truck in Bald Knob's from Bald Knob. Because I want some community pride in what they do. My guys also have a piece, they have equity in our company. So when they make a decision, they're not thinking what's best for them. They're thinking what's best for the company and for the growth and sustainability of that company. So there's some things that separate us. And plus, this isn't that hard. As long as I don't leave your can in your driveway when it's raining, you have to get out to move it. As long as I don't block your mail, as long as I close the lid and don't throw it in the ditch and return it and pick it up on the day I'm supposed to, this isn't that hard. And those are the things we strive to do. When we get through running your town, you won't even know we were there. And I mean that by the cans won't be in the ditch. The cans will be standing up neat. And like I said, you'll get some of those calls where, hey, you missed me. I saw you drive right by. Well, we picked her up on the way in. She saw us drive out and the can was right where she left it. And to me, that's what it's about, is making everything, taking a little pride in what you do. And I think that's what separates us.
Well, so we filled 25 minutes as promised. I want to tell you thank you. Before I close out though, last shot here. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
For Wayne?
Yeah, for Wayne and Mayor, you as well. The recycling program, will that be individual home option, or if we go that way, is that something everybody's doing, or what?
Wayne, I'll jump in front of you real quick, kind of take that heat from you. But nobody I've spoken with, even Miss Alice, it's not feasible to think that a garbage company will be able to what's called opt in and opt out. So it's generally all or nothing. That's what you're looking at. So the city is going to own it. That's why the city council is going to be charged to make that decision. So unfortunately, it would provide much more flexibility if I could opt in and pay individually. But unless Wayne wants to trump me and say, yeah, actually, man, we'll provide that for you guys, which would be amazing. But I haven't gotten that answer from anybody that I've spoken with yet, because it's not feasible for them to come in for 200 accounts. But Wayne, I'll let you go ahead and answer that question.
No, that's well stated, Mayor. That's it. And if you go to a subscription, it costs, it's the same type truck, same fuel, manpower to service it. I think that we can reduce some of the costs by going every other week. We can do that. So you're only there twice a month as opposed to 4 times. That's one reduction. But a subscription would be very expensive. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be in that $3 range or anything like that. It'd probably be $10 or $11. We do that in Kansas. It's tough to track, and that's part of that contract. So
I have 2 questions. You mentioned that you keep the recycling bins on site. So does that mean if I had recycling, I would have to request a bin? Everybody won't have one?
we can do it either way. When I came into BB, they were already doing recycling, and they had bins. We brought bins, and they were collecting them from the water department. We kind of kept that trend going. So I I have them at the water department, but I have them here. When I get a call, I deliver it. But no, we would deliver a bin to every residence when we start the program. And if they want a second bin or a third bin, and you're going to have some that are going to want that. You're going to have some that these things are going to be in their storage room, as storage containers, but then you're going to have some that are going to use 2 or 3. And in order to expedite that, we could have some at the water department or a location in Lone Oak, as well as me having them here and bringing them when I bring the cans, and we make those movements.
Okay, and my other question, would you be involved in educating the citizens about what they can recycle? You know, just like I know glass can't be recycled, but a lot of people are under the impression that it can. So would you be involved with that?
Yes, ma'am. And we would put out, when we delivered the recycling bins, we would put out a publication that would show what you can and what you can't recycle. I speak at schools here in BB on recycling, because usually if you want to reach the parent, I'm a lot better parent because of my child. So we go to the schools, we educate the children, kind of get them excited. And a lot of times that shows up in the household. But yes, ma'am, we would, and we'd put out, you know, this is what we put on our trash cans. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I get it back. But it's simple. Trash day, Friday. Trash day, Thursday. When we put the cans out, we would put a sticker on the can. If we put out the recycling bins, we'll have a sticker that may say second and fourth Monday of the month, or something like that, depending on what you want. Or if you want to go every day, recycling Monday or Tuesday. So everybody knows what day they go on. So I try to stay away from Mondays, but I do recycling on Mondays.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions for Mr. Rathman?
I apologize about my ignorance getting on here earlier. I had to put my regular password on, so that was my fault, not y'all's. I apologize about that, and thank you for your time. And if you have a question, feel free to call me at my number. We're very excited about an opportunity in Lone Oak. So
Wayne, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. You guys put forth a good foot, and wish you the best of luck when we release this RFP. So if you have questions about the city, call me. And if the council has any questions about what Wayne's presented tonight, I would encourage you guys to reach out to him. You can Google Green Environment Services and get his number. I think it'll call him directly. So again,
yes, well, if my office phone after 5 o'clock rings my cell, so, or when I leave the office. So we're here 24/7. Same with our customers.
Man, I really appreciate it. Thank you again. I know the council does too.
Thank you. And I apologize for my bloop earlier, but thank you all for your time. Okay.
You have a good night, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, guys. Real quick, I'm just going to close up the working session. 2 things that I wanted to discuss with you guys. I'm sure everybody's aware, but for the public edification, our current contract costs us per residence, per water meter, $11.25 a month. All right. And we didn't go into pricing models tonight. That wasn't the point. The point was to kind of educate everybody on what available options these different companies can provide us. It would appear, to be honest with you, after some of the conversations I've had, Miss Alice has had some good ones too. We might actually could see a lower cost per month in our water bills, up until the point that we consider a recycling program. All right. So it's possible to think that we might get a contractor come in here and see anywhere between a $9 and $10 per month water bill. I'm not going to speak for anybody, and I'm not going to set any expectations, but this is just from the homework and research that I've been doing. Now, at the point in time that we say, all right, do we honor the recycling program, and are we listening to the community? Do they really want it? Then we're looking at probably putting an extra $2 or $3 on top of that. Again, those are subjective numbers. Don't take those to the bank. This is what the RFP process is for. And so what we're going to end up doing is structuring a request for proposal to be released. And what I would encourage you guys to do is do some more homework. We also have a contract that has been extended, courtesy of Douglas, to the end of the year. Okay, so the goal is to have a contractor selected end of October, by October council, November at the latest. That'll give them 30 days to get integrated and get prepped and ready to be ready for trash services after Christmas on January the 1st for Lonoc. Okay, that's the goal, is to have a new contract starting at the beginning of the year. If you guys have questions, if you guys have any advice for me, please reach out to me individually, send me some information, or just come by, send me an email, or come by and sit down and discuss, your thoughts on this whole program. So does anybody have any announcements or anything they want to cover about tonight's meeting?
Mr. Mayor, this is Ryan. I just want to give thanks to my colleague, Ms. Bridges, for the research and the organization that she put in to creating the matrix that we're referencing tonight. It's extremely clear, and I know a lot of legwork and thought went into cataloging this, and it's a really helpful tool, and it's going to serve us well. So I want to offer that thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you, Alice, so much for your time and input on that.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
I don't know how many of y'all have ever had a service like that or used it, but at my homes in Little Rock, we have them. And really those 65 and 95 size boxes or cans, very ample for what we need to do most of the time. I mean, with the exception of holidays, just rarely do I ever go over that.
Mm-hmm.
Any other points of consideration for the garbage contract? If there's not, what I want to do at this time, Jerry Beth, can you hear me?
I can. I'm here.
So what I want to do at this time, only because what was on the agenda for the fire department is important, and it can be a lengthy process. It can take a couple months to actually get what we need. I'd like to go ahead and enter into council, special council. So what I'm going to do is I can ask for a roll call, and then I'm going to allow Chief Wittenberg to discuss what's on the agenda, and then we will close. Okay, so that's the plan right now. So all right, I'm going to officially open this up here. Jerry Beth, clerk, if you would, please go ahead and call the roll.
Sure will. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor,
I'm here.
Mr. Philip Powell,
Here.
Miss Stewart, I know she was on here earlier. And she's
Yeah.
I'm here.
okay. Mr. Cordell,
Here.
Mrs. Bridges,
Here.
excuse me, Mrs. Elmore,
Here.
Mr. Biles,
Here.
Mr. Jones, Mr. Hatton, Mr. Florence, Mr. Butler.
Here.
Okay, Mayor, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you, Jerry Beth. You guys had 2 items on your agenda passed out and 2 days ago, and the first item was a resolution for a Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism grant. And so in the past 2 days, we've made a good call. It's a conservative call, but it's a good call. And we're going to defer that project until the beginning of next year. What we're doing is attempting to go after a 50-50 grant for our rail trail enhancement. Okay, the rail trail enhancement is going to include benches, water fountains, dog stations, a trailhead, a train cart renovation. Okay, which is the largest part of this project. We'd like to put up, $100,000, $150,000 into upgrading that train cart, make it actually a real centerpiece and a park system. All right. And there are a couple of other elements that were included in that. piece. And now that we've got on-call services, we can expect to work with an architect or engineer through Craft and Toll and submit a package in April and not feel like we're behind the power curve because in August is our deadline. All right. So we've been, I don't want to say scrambling, but we've been working expeditiously to get a package together that would be competitive and that would fit within our budget. And, you know, COVID aside, it's kind of thrown some confusion into the mix. And so we just sat down with Kanya, has been working with us from CAPDD, and we said, Kanya, we're going to err on the side of caution. We're going to stack the deck and cards, and we're going to submit next year for this rail trail enhancement. So because of that, I'm going to ask the council to defer the resolution until the beginning of early of next year. Well, that leaves us with one agenda item that we need to get voted on, and that's a quote for fire department turnouts. So, Chief, I'm going to give you the floor.
Good evening. I'm sorry about not having this in the packet for Monday. I was a few hours late. My salesman got to me just a few hours later. We've done it Monday. This is just like every year when we buy turnouts, we wait towards the end of the year so that they're all kind of the same date and we order them at the same time. This will outfit 4 firefighters. Also on this quote is 10 helmets. We ordered helmets last time. We order them in 2 groups or possibly 3, but they're all coming up to shelf life, which is 10 years. So that's why it's a little bit more than last year on the price. This is where we normally get our turnouts. This is what we wear. This is what we spec'd out. It's from EVS and Conway, and it's for the total of $17,421.62.
So I'll take a motion to accept the bid as presented for $17,421.62.
So moved,
So-
Cordell.
Second, Coy Ballard.
I got a motion by Matt Cordell and I got a second by Coy Butler. Are there any questions? All right, if there's no questions or concerns, we'll take it to a vote. All in favor, don't forget to unmute. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Chief, you got anything else for us?
No, thank y'all very much for your time.
Thanks for hanging there with us. Appreciate you too. All right. Well, guys, that's all we had for this evening. I appreciate you guys putting the business on the back end so we can get that taken care of. Does anybody on the council have anything they want to say? Any quick announcements?
I just wondered when we will put out a RFP for the trash service.
My goal is to have it out before the end of the month. Definitely September, definitely by the end of or the beginning of next month. So we got about 3 weeks, Miss Alice.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any objections? Hope this was worth your time, guys. I appreciate you staying in tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
you.
Good night, everybody.